Hey, this is Matt from InvestiQuant. Today is Thursday, July 8th, 2021. The overnight session is seeing selling pressure stepping in. We've got a giant range in the overnight session, and it has all been to the downside. The markets opened and then quickly after started working their way lower, and then around 2 a.m. Eastern time really started just selling off and trending lower. So we've got sizable down gaps shaping up this morning, and the study we're going to be looking at here specifically for this morning is going to be based on just the ES. We're going to use a different section of the platform we don't normally use here. We're going to be using the overnight filters, which will allow us to kind of describe the price action that's taking place in this overnight session. So let me go ahead and set up what we're going to be looking at here. I've got the ES selected. I'm going to go to the opening filters because it looks like we are very likely to be opening below prior day low. So I'm going to go to the opening area, and I'm going to hit equals next to open below prior day low. Next, I'm going to hop into this overnight filter section, and this is where I can describe the price action that's taking place in this volatile overnight session. And the first thing I'm going to say is this overnight range is larger than the current 5-day ATR. So our current 5-day ATR is about 29 points. We've got 72 points of range here in the overnight session. So we are well above that. But I'm going to go ahead and add that as a custom filter here. I'm going to go to the overnight range and put in a minimum size here of 100% of the 5-day ATR. Now I could put in 200% and get more specific with this, but I want to keep as many samples as possible. So this is going to say that we already have a large range that is taking place. Next, I want to say that the open of the overnight session is near the highs of the overnight range. So I'm going to go to this overnight open versus overnight range, and I'm going to say that the open of the overnight session is in the top 25% of the overnight range. And I don't know exactly where we're going to be opening. We're trading in the bottom portion of the overnight range right now, but I don't know if that will finish up in the bottom quartile or the bottom half. But to try to keep as many samples as possible, I'm just going to say that the overnight close, which is referencing where the open is basically here, is in the bottom half of the overnight range. So that means that we will have a directionally down session forming on good range. And then lastly, I'm going to go into the indicator section and say this is happening in the background of a bull market environment. We closed up at all-time highs yesterday, so we are above a 10, we are above a 200. We're getting this sizable down move taking place. So now I can hit view results. And here we go. These are the results based upon entering the market long at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time and exiting at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time when you are in a bull market environment, which I've defined as above a 10 and above a 200. And the overnight session is somewhat trendy to the downside. And I've defined that as an overnight range that is at least 100% of the 5-day ATR. The open of the overnight session is in the top quartile of its range, and then the close of the overnight session is in the bottom half of the overnight range, as well as below the prior session low of day. So historically, we've got 67 samples here, and on those 67 samples, 67% have closed above the opening print. The average win on those 67% of winners is not nearly as large as the average loss on the remaining 33% of losses. So the bigger moves have taken place to the downside in this scenario, but way more often than not, it ends up with a green daily candlestick. So this has often been kind of a buy the dip like scenario, historically speaking, at least. So hopefully you found that helpful. Good luck today. We'll see you next time.